Hey everyone, it's Keeley here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where I am making what is perhaps my hardest bar of soap name to pronounce, as well as what has been the fastest selling soap bar I have ever made in all the years I have been making soap. It sold out so fast, I actually had to come back and redo the intro to this video just to let everyone know that although you are now seeing the making of the Highland Coo Soap, it has actually sold out, I'm sorry. And at this point in time, because we're so close to Christmas, okay, we're 6 months out, but I'm actually in full Christmas mode right now. I just do not have time to make another one. Now, the way I've actually spelled the name of cow is how a Scottish person would actually pronounce the word cow. It just doesn't work on a British person with an Australian accent, but it was my good friend over in Western Australia who did say, once I showed her the little embeds that go onto this soap, she said I should be calling it Highland Coo. I cannot say it, but just imagine someone like Billy Connolly saying it and then you'll get the picture of what this soap was about. This soap I did make over a month ago. I had a feeling it was going to be popular from the response that I had to the little sneak peeks in the stories. So I did actually end up making a full loaf, which you're going to see me make today. Plus I also made a little half loaf, which is a reel on the social media channels. And I released it at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and by 4:30 in the afternoon, this soap had actually completely sold out. I will make another one in the future, but not until I've got all my Christmas stuff all sorted out. But I am still going to show the video of how I make the Highland Coo soap. I did actually forget to film the making of the cows that I make to go on the top of here. So we're going to start off by seeing the reel of me making the little cow embeds that I put onto the soap, and then we'll jump into the actual soap making. But just remember, I do say it's available online and in store now. In fact, it didn't even hit the store shelves because it sold out so fast online. So I promise, try and make another one at some point in the future, but it probably won't be until the new year. But for now, let's go and see how I make the Highland Coo soap. Let's go. So let's get on with making this soap. I'm just going to gently pour in my live water just to avoid any splash back there. I have got the shop open right now, so if anyone walks in, you may find that there'll suddenly be a little bit of music over this rather than me talking. But I really didn't feel like coming in early to work again today to film this one, so it is what it is. So I've got my lye water in there. I am going to mix this until it comes to just emulsion. That is looking good. So the emulsion is before you start to get those sort of trail lines, which is when we've hit trace, but when it's actually on the stick blender, it stays held together and doesn't separate into the oil and the lye. And just bringing it up to this stage rather than up to a light trace gives me enough time to work to bring in colors and fragrance and everything else that I want to actually do. So I'm just going to get that scraped off for a moment while we split this out for a few colors. Into this pot I have some tree leaf green, which is a heirloom obsession color. Now I'm not going to pour off too much because I have got 3 colours to do swirls with. This one in here, what did I pick? Lime Spider? No, I did not. I cannot for the life of me think what I picked. I picked Jade. That was Jade. So it's a light green going into that one. And into my small pot here, I have got some titanium dioxide dispersed into some water. And then into my big pot, I've got this little concoction of green micas. It was from when I had pimped my soap, and I actually got in some micas to test and try because I had the thought of selling micas, but well, things just weren't going particularly well for the business. So I ended up using a lot of the micas myself, and some of them I just mixed together to create my own colours, and that is what I did with this green. So I'm going to get these mixed in. The colours mixed up, we have now come up to a light trace on all of these. So now we're going to add in our fragrance, and I'm using one called Misty Mountain. Now I'm just debating whether to put it into my white or not. I actually might skip the white and just pop it into the greens. Actually no, I will put it in the white because I have done a little ray of sunshine and it did play nicely in that one. So I'm going to put it into my white. I'm going to give these a little bit of a mix, and then we will grab the mold and we're going to do a curly swirl, I think. Yeah, we'll go for curl. I really hadn't decided what to do, but I think I actually want to get some real curls and swirls going through this one. All right, so I've got the mold here, and I'm going to start by pouring in pretty much most of this. I think we're actually going to go, because I've got quite thick colours here, I think we're going to pour in most of that and actually use the hanger to get those swirls instead, just so it doesn't go all muddy on me. Can just control just a little bit more. So let's pop as much of that in as we can. Going to get this other green. This one goes a really disgusting colour, but it does always come back to this beautiful bright green, so hopefully that will pop in that sort of base there. Oh, my white's thickening up, so we should get some really nice swirls. Now I don't want any white left over, so let's plippity plop that into the mould, and then I'll grab the hanger and we'll do that hanger swirl. All right, so I've got the hanger. Let's go in. I'm just going to do some swirls like so. That should do. It is quite thick, so hopefully that will give us some really nice swirls. All right, just pop the mold up on a couple of little essential oil openers, and what I'm going to do now is just get these pots all scraped out. And for now, I'm not trying to texture the top. I will sort that out in just a moment. This a really good knockdown on the bench so that I could get it as flat as possible. I don't want to make it any more complicated on the top because we have got some big embeds to go on here, and I'm really hoping they're going to fit. All I'm going to do now, as you can see, is I'm just texturing the top of this with my chopstick here, just moving that color around and just making it so that it sticks up a little bit, almost mimicking grass. It's not going to look like, you know, proper piped grass or anything, but like I said, we've got so much going on with our little embeds. I want the embeds to be the sort of main feature and not necessarily how I've textured the top. And I love doing these chopstick textured tops. They look so good, and they're really good if you do want to try and keep your soaps flat but want to add that little bit of texture, just waiting until it's firmed up enough that you can run the chopstick through and create this little swirl. It makes such a great top. But I'm almost at the end, and here's going to come what I think is going to be the most challenging bit. However, before I do that, the top of this is screaming out at me to put some biodegradable glitter across the front of it, across the top of it, just to make it even more fun than what it is. So there we go. Now I have taken my gloves off for this bit because I do find it easier to do without gloves. I've given them a spray with some rubbing alcohol, but what I'm going to do now, oh, these are heavy, we're going to pop on our little embeds, which are these gorgeous little cows. To make them, I've had this mold and I have just filled them up, scented them with the same scent, which is very rare for me to do, but I have actually done that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my ruler to put down exactly where the 2.5 line is, because I'm pretty sure these are bang on 2.5 centimeters. So we'll probably even have to get the little individual soap cutter out to be cutting these soaps. But I'm going to need every little bit of concentration to get these soaps, these little cows on here. I did think about putting them on a slight angle, but I don't think that's going to help my cause. This was a crazy idea. I just knew it was going to be crazy. Can't really see too much of what I'm doing because they are now all sitting against each other. So I'm going to fast forward this bit with a little bit of music, and then as I get towards, or once I've finished it, I have got these little flower sprinkles that I have made up using some soap dough and some sprinkle sheets. Now last time I showed these little flowers I'd made with sprinkle sheets, I said that they came from off Wickedly, and unfortunately she wasn't making them. She has since started selling the sprinkle sheets again on her website. So these work really, really well. You just grab your little sprinkle sheet, fill them up with some soap dough, and then pop your little sprinkles out. And it's such a quick way to make super cute, practical embeds for your soaps. But I'm going to pop my shop music back on and we're going to finish popping these in here. So our Highland Coos are in the mould. It just doesn't sound right when a Australian British accent says that. It has to be a Scottish person that says it, but you know what I mean. It's in the mould. It does look like I have got enough space between all of my little cows here to get the single bar cutter through. You are just pushing it just a little bit in here. Let's just smooth them a little bit. But it is looking pretty good. I'm going to leave this one set up overnight and we will come back in a moment and we'll see just how hard it's going to be to cut this soap, and we'll see what swirls we've got on the inside. All right, it's the next day. The colors on this have really popped. It is smelling so good. We've got the single bar cutter here. So let's get this one all lined up. This is going to take a little while to cut because I really don't want to mess anything up. So let's make sure his nose is clear and we'll get that end piece off first of all. All right, so we've got the end piece off. I do need to grab myself just a little bit of tissue just to get those little bits off. So I'm going to do that. Now I have actually got my end piece here marked to the 2.5 centimeters that I want, but I'm also very aware that we need to work with the cows. So let's just bump you up just a little bit. Yep, we're going to miss the nose. This is going to take a while to cut, but it's going to be well worth it, isn't it? Just pull that back a little bit. Oh, and there he is. How absolutely cute. He does look like he's sitting in a field with his little flowers. These are going to be real difficult to wrap up, aren't they, as well? A bit like doing mermaid tails, but at least they're a little bit more sturdier than a mermaid tail there. These are going to be super special. They will go into the decorative range, but there will be an extra little bit put on them just because of the pure weight of these soaps. But super happy with how that has come out. And I was actually really worried about, I had gone to all the effort of colouring the feet on these little cows, and I'm thinking that was really silly because I'm going to be pushing them into the soap. Oh, how are we going to see the feet? But we can still see those feet, so really happy with that. Let's bump that back up to the marker. Oh, perfect, absolutely perfect. Oh, I'm so happy with these. Look at the swirls. They are so absolutely cute on these. Really pleased. I already know at least 2 people who have messaged me saying they want some bars. So this will be one of those that when it does finally go up on the website in mid to late, in fact it will now be late July because we're at the end of June, so it'll be the end of July when this one actually goes up on the website. You will have to be quick if you want one of the Highland Coo soaps. I just can't say it. It is a lot to do with dialect. I was born in the UK, and I was actually born in the southern part of UK, even though most of my family is from the Midlands, who have a really rich, thick accent. I was actually born in the south, and I remember when we did actually move up north as a child, we moved up to Nottingham, where there's a slightly different dialect. I was teased something chronic because I spoke the Queen's English, very posh, prim and proper, which is probably why I really struggle to pronounce cow the way that the Scottish pronounce it, but you know what it's meant to sound like. So just imagine someone like Billy Connolly saying it, and then you'll get the correct image of this soap. But I am super happy with it, super happy with the colours, how it's all popped, the little flowers on the top as well. These are a heavy bar of soap. I'll go and pop one on the scale. Now, usually my decorative bars of soap come in at about 140 to 145 grams. These are coming in, well, that particular bar there, they should all be roughly around the same, came in at 170 grams. So considerably bigger. Just pushing that cow forward a little bit because he's leaning back. He's a chilled out cow, but it has missed all the rest of him. Oh, I am so pleased with how this has turned out. I'll cut one more, but this is going to take forever to cut this soap. So let's get this last one cut, and then I will let you guys get back to your day. So there we have another one there. I'll cut just one more as well. I can't help it. It is so super cute. I have filmed this video at the end of June, as I said, and I actually do have quite a few videos already lined up, so probably by the time this video does come out, this soap will already be on the website. So make sure you're following along on socials to see if this soap has been released, if you are interested in getting it and you've got an Australian shipping address. But otherwise, I do hope you have enjoyed coming along with me today as I made the Highland Coo Soap. I'm not even going to try and say it anymore. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you then. Bye.